Hey, everybody. Probably like me, you were saddened this week when you found out about the passing of Matthew Perry, who played Chandler Bing on Friends. He was just 54 years old. I'm 56, and so I can really relate to the age he was when he passed. And we've seen other celebrities over the years who passed way too young: Prince, Michael Jackson, Elvis, just to name a few, Marilyn Monroe, and others. And I think when people pass at that age, we really get shocked. And I think in Matthew Perry's case, we are saddened because we know he, like some others, really struggled with drug addiction. I have not read his book, but some people have, and they have posted some excerpts on the internet, and I've been able to read a little bit, and he seemed to be very clear about the struggles that he had. He didn't hold back, and thankfully at the end of his life, as he began to get clean, I think he used his mess to help other people, and probably his celebrity helped a little bit with that, but mostly his generosity and his money. I was glad to hear that that's what he did. I'm looking forward to reading his book and finding out more about that struggle, but I know it's going to be painful to read. But I was really saddened this week when I saw that there's a comedian who I'm not really familiar with. I think he worked on SNL, or maybe, I don't know, but his name is Kevin Brennan. And he said that he laughed when he heard that Matthew Perry died because he thinks it's funny when junkies die. It's hard to imagine the lack of compassion in that statement. I just can't fathom what he was thinking to say that out loud. Even if he was thinking it, it should never have come out of his mouth. I mean, how would he feel if that was his son or his brother or sister? Surely to goodness he wouldn't have said that. You know, as Christians, we need to have compassion. We're called, according to Colossians 3, to clothe ourselves with compassion. Now, that means we essentially need to put on the robe of Jesus Christ. We need to see people the way Jesus sees people. You know, there's a great story in the Bible about Jesus speaking with a rich young ruler. This rich young man came to Jesus and said, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Now, there's a whole lot in that question, but Jesus' response was simple. After questioning why the man called him good, he went on to say, "You know the commandments," and he named, I think, 4 of them. To which the young man said, "Well, I've kept all these since I was a boy." So Jesus, looking in his heart, challenged him and simply said, "Sell all your possessions, give to the poor, and then come and follow me." Because Jesus knew that the issue was in this man's heart. It was money and material possessions had control of him. But the thing that really fascinates me about that story is in the middle of that story, there's this one verse that's not a throwaway verse at all. It's a very important verse, and it simply says, Jesus looked at him and loved him. That's kind of all you need to know about Jesus. And that's how we should look at people. We should look at them and love them. Even in their mess, even in the mistakes they've made, we look at them and we love them. We don't shy away from them, we embrace them. And I think my point here that you'll get is what really I think about a lot. If I could go back in time and speak to Matthew Perry and ask him what he wanted to be when he was 10 years old, he may or may not have said a famous actor. He may have said he wanted to be a firefighter. Who knows? But I guarantee he wouldn't have said he wanted to be a drug addict. If you see a prostitute walking the street, you might wonder how in the world she got there. How did that happen? But I know if you went back and talked to her when she was 10 and asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up, she would not say a prostitute. The same would be true of anybody who struggles from some sort of an addiction. Go talk to somebody who's an alcoholic, or somebody who has a spending addiction, or anything else. And some addictions, as we all know, are almost invisible. You can have an addiction to money. You can have an addiction to social media, and maybe nobody knows but you. You can even have an addiction to pornography, and nobody will have an idea but you. I even know some people who are addicted to alcohol, but you wouldn't know through the day because they're a functional alcoholic. They don't start drinking until sundown, until dinner, and then they really get into it at night. I think we just need to have that sense of compassion for people to realize, hey, at 10 years old, this person didn't want to have this in their life. Something happened. Something happened. They tried something. They took a chance and drank one night and got drunk and really loved it and decided they liked that, and maybe they had a predisposition to alcoholism and it kind of took over, or maybe they went from smoking marijuana and tried something and thought, oh boy, this high is even better than that, and next thing you know, they're hooked. Maybe they were troubled in life about something and they got drunk or high as a result of that. Who knows? I just know something happened. And I guarantee those people have hated themselves and wanted to get that out of their life and realize it's messing them up, but they just haven't been able to get free from it. So if we're really going to be the people Jesus calls us to be, we have to clothe ourselves with compassion. It doesn't mean that we need to agree with the person. It doesn't mean that we're okay with them, being hooked on drugs and alcohol. And it certainly means that we shouldn't enable them. But at the same time, we need to have compassion for them. And we need to look at them. And we need to love them. Just like Jesus. I hope you will do that. And I hope you keep walking with him. I'll do the same. Keep looking at people and loving them. And I'll see you next week.